It's finally here. Voting day in the US presidential election. Hey everyone. Today is voting day in the US presidential election. And it has been pretty heated, I will say. It's Donald Trump for the Republicans and Joe Biden for the Democrats. Now, who do I think will win? If the polls are to be believed, Joe Biden will. Although we do know from the last presidential election in 2016 that the polls aren't reliable. Because they got the Hillary Clinton Donald Trump race very wrong. And actually they were pretty much saying the same thing with Hillary Clinton that they are with Joe Biden now. That they're definitely going to win. When it comes to support, I think Donald Trump has it. Because I got the sense that Trump was working to get as much support as possible, while Biden was just trying to keep hold of the support he had, which didn't seem like he was doing a very good job at. Doing what you said you were going to do. In my opinion, that should be the real way to judge how a politician has done. Because that's what they get elected on. They get elected on the promises they make. And then they should be judged on whether they've actually followed through on those promises. And to be honest though, I think that's why the stereotype of politicians being liars is there. And to be honest though, it's not an unreasonable stereotype. Because if you name a politician, the likelihood that they've not followed through on the promises that they make during election campaigning is kind of high, that they haven't followed through on them. Trump has. He moved the embassy in Israel to Jerusalem. Now, several presidents before him had promised they'd do the same thing. Yet they never did. He promised he would do it, and he did it. When you look at Obama's war promises when he ran as a very anti-war candidate, and yet he ended up being very pro-war. Because I will say though that was mostly because Hillary Clinton as a Secretary of State was pretty much up his ass about the whole thing really. Trump hasn't started any new wars, despite the fact the media keeps claiming he's about to start another world war. He's about to start a war with North Korea. He's about to start a war with China. Yet he hasn't. And he's pulled troops out of wars that have been completely unnecessary. So what does it look like so far? Well, I've been following the different polls and the different early voting tallies so far. And I'd say the Democrats are going to be quite nervous. Because how it usually is, and how it was last time, was the Democrats build up a huge lead with early voting and mail-in ballots. And then it's the Republican voters and the Trump voters in 2016 will show up on election day, which is today. And that's how it flips. Hillary Clinton had a much bigger lead on Donald Trump in 2016 going into election day than Joe Biden has now. And that should be something that's unnerving. Now, when it comes to those mail-in ballots being counted, because they won't actually be counted until after election day, which is annoying, will we know the results as fast as we usually do? Probably not. But we will have a good estimate about who's going to get in. I do see Trump getting in. Although I will say it's not certain, I'm quite confident Trump will get re-elected. And I think the business owners in Washington DC who are boarding up their businesses for the next couple of days, I think they're right to, because we know what's going to happen with the left if Donald Trump gets re-elected. More riots, because that seems to be the only thing they can do really these days, isn't it? It's impossible to know what will happen. But given the enthusiasm for Trump, and I will say the lack of enthusiasm for Biden, it's hard to see how Biden will win. The only enthusiasm Biden voters really have isn't for voting for Biden, it's for voting against Trump. Like, I do believe that the Bernie Sanders supporters won't show up for Biden. They won't show up for Trump either, but they won't show up. So what do you guys think about today? Leave your thoughts in the comment section down below. I'd love to hear them. If you like this video, hit that thumbs up button and don't forget to subscribe to keep up with my latest videos. Election day is always a big thing. But I think it's what'll happen after today that'll really show who is right. Thanks for listening, and I'll see you next time.